While the wait for what can only be described as the update TM for BattleBit continues to drag on, and I truly think we're going to need a new definition for soon TM after this, it almost feels like we are starting to hit the home stretch if the latest devcast is anything to go by. And look, based on some of the things that were included in this devcast, I may even boldly suggest that mayhaps this wait has been worth it. G'day there once again viewers, your mate Kamikaze78 here, and today folks, let's talk about this latest development cast and why I think we may be very close to seeing the light at the end of this long, long tunnel. Alright, so the latest devcast, folks. I know that many of you are really sick and tired of hearing me talk about what is coming versus, oh my god, it's actually here, install the game again, but I do want to keep you guys up to date on all of the things that are in the works for the game, and I will be honest in saying, guys, that we've got some pretty promising things to talk about in this one. Without question, the thing that took center stage in this devcast was the brand new deploy screen UI. And look, I don't think there's any denying it, folks. This looks clean as hell. BattleBit's UI and UX design has always, without a doubt, been one of its more unintuitive elements, something that, you know, feels archaic to navigate by comparison to a lot of its competitors out there. It was certainly something that needed some work, and if there was going to be something that feature creeped its way into this update, I'm actually kind of glad it's the elements of the UI, given that it's what every player interacts with, regardless of everything else in the game. Now, this new screen, by comparison to what we have today, is just such a chef's kiss for so many reasons. For one, we now have a visual satellite-like top-down image of the map as you navigate the spawn screen, which gives players visual feedback on the types of landmarks that are around and how capture points interact with those landmarks. It's going to be much better for learning the maps on the go. We also now have the ability to change the squad type that you are leading on the left-hand side, which I believe was something that wasn't exactly easy to do ahead of this update. If the buttons pertaining to your loadout across the bottom of the screen are going to sport the kind of functionality that I would expect them to, we might have the ability to change gear items on the fly right here in this screen as well. On the right hand side, we also now have a description of the chosen class that you're running, along with the traits and benefits that it will sport. We can also see a class rank progression bar there as well, which the developers have confirmed will initially be used for cosmetic unlocks, but will eventually progress to future gadget unlocks as well as the devs continue to release more content. But on top of that, guys, and yep, you can see that right down there in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, loadouts, a button for loadouts. I'll touch on that a bit more in a second here, but looking at this in totality here, this is a very clean upgrade to a once very basic setup that very much gives the game a facelift from top to bottom. I know it's not the content that many people are looking for, but from a gameplay experience perspective, having a good UI is very much a step in the right direction, and I welcome this change. But no, as we mentioned before, folks, probably the longest requested, most sought after feature is finally coming to BattleBit Remastered: loadouts and loadout presets. We are now going to have 3 loadout preset slots that we can save per class. Me personally, I would love to see this expand in the future to potentially, you know, be a loadout slot that you unlock every, say, 10 or 15 levels of progression in the game. But for now, I will happily take 3 slots of loadout presets over having, you know, none at all. I seriously can't tell you guys how happy I am to finally see loadouts and presets in the game. It's been a long-needed feature, and it will go a long way to improving the experience in letting us just have, you know, different kits for different situations ready to go on the fly without needing to fumble through the loadout menus. But on the topic of loadout menus too, we also did get a brand new fresh UI screen for this as well, sporting much of the UI updates that match the deploy screen changes. We've got a far cleaner look at the stats card for a weapon. We just need the damage numbers re-added to the damage graph and then we're solid, and the camo selection menu has also been given a much needed overhaul. And I don't think I speak alone here when I say that changing camos under the current menu design was enough to give me an aneurysm sometimes. The developers also showed off a brand new death screen here as well, which is just, you know, giving it a bit of a touch up as well, in line with the other stuff that's been updated from a UI perspective too. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I know many of you in the comments are going to look at these updates that we've just shown off here today and you're going to go, What the fuck? The game has not been updated in over 8 months. We are lacking so much content. Why are we focusing on UI updates? And look guys, I get that too. Trust me, I've been an incredibly vocal member in the community over the past few months of, telling the developers to stop feature creeping the hell out of this update and just getting something out to us, But by the same token, after seeing what they have been working on here and, having the final, close to final result put forward to us, I actually see some validity in the developers choosing to make these UI updates for this big patch. Allow me to explain. As I said before guys, these are changes that every player, whether they be new, returning, or veteran, are going to interact with a significant amount and feel the positive effects of. A functioning, clean, presentable UI goes such a long way in taking even the most visually basic games like BattleBit a step above the rest and just making the experience better. And I genuinely believe that the updates that we've seen here will go a long way in achieving that if the developers get their act together and, release the update. Velasquez did also take some time to go over the Wakistan changes, but I wasn't able to record any of the devcast itself, so there's not a whole lot to show on that front today. But beyond the content demonstrations itself in the devcast, the devs did offer us some very interesting insights into the behind the scenes of the game's development right now that also suggests to me that we are on the home stretch finally. Firstly, this UI that we're seeing here is apparently not the work of our 3 lead developers, being Oki, Velasquez, or Larry. This is actually the work of a brand new UI UX designer that has been introduced to the team for the long term. The devs have admitted that the UI here is not a one and done job. It will be a living, breathing element of the game's design as it continues to grow. So having someone in this position who, I imagine has some experience in the field given the quality of the work we're seeing here, is going to alleviate so much pressure from the remainder of the team and will let them continue to focus on all of their respective expertise. The fact that we're finally seeing some growth in the team's capacity and we're seeing the fruits of that labor suggests to me that we are finally picking up on that steam that was lost over the last few months and that we can hopefully get the update cadence back on the right track in the future. Further to that, the developers have also announced that they have hired a QA team to thoroughly test the game from the ground up to ensure that there are no bugs and that they have a stable build for this version of the game. This is something that filled me with so much joy when I heard it, quite frankly, because the scope of this update is quite simply far too large for 3 people to QA on their own. This is a significant update that touches literally every element of the game, and having an independent third party come through that will also have a fresh set of eyes on the game is going to do a lot of help in ensuring that the update is delivered well. When you spend so long looking at your own project and continuously tweaking away at it, things are going to fall through the cracks. Hell, things may just be hiding in plain sight because you've seen them so often that, you just go, oh yeah, that's normal, don't worry about that. So again, to me, it almost feels as though we're finally making some grounds on the developers here admitting that the scope of this project is bigger than the 3 of them, and getting the assistance they need is such a relief to see to me. It's almost an assurance for me as well, and this update. But to me, folks, the fact that they've hired a QA team also tells me that we are very much on those final steps. Those same final steps that Oki told us that they were on a few months ago, but nonetheless, we're here now finally. Sorry, Oki, I had to get that little jab in there, but still love you, buddy. The point being, you wouldn't be making such a hire when you still have a ton of core gameplay changes to make. It finally sounds like the update scope has been reached in totality, and that we may finally see the end of this very long wait. But obviously, this begs the one true question. When? When is this update coming out? All of this is just talk until it happens, right? Sadly, folks, we are yet to receive the date. Terminal Intel, BattleBit Remastered's community manager, has been very clear in noting that the developers do not want to repeat the previous mistakes in missing ETAs and missing the mark. They are very aware of how much trust that's been lost within the community through this fiasco, and they don't want to apply gasoline to the house that's already on fire. That really just helps no one, despite how badly we want a date. Terminal also pointed out in the devcast article on Reddit that the development team is extremely unhappy with the position that they are in. They are aware of the damage that's been done, and that this update cycle is something that they never want to replicate. Obviously, whether we catch ourselves in this position again in the future is something that only time will tell, and it will really prove whether or not the developers have learnt their lesson here. The communication that we've been seeing from Terminal Intel, and how blunt and direct it is while being honest, is a big breath of fresh air in a way. And that's not to say anything against the other 3, it's just nice to have somebody whose sole role in the team is to communicate with the community and manage those expectations accordingly in a way that, works. Again, it's just a big night and day difference when you've got someone whose sole role is on that roll. The wait has been excruciating. Trust me guys, I get it. But I truly believe that we are on the final countdown now. And I, like many of you, are really just hoping that the wait has been worth it, and that overall BattleBit Remastered has not dug its own grave in this sort of seeking of perfection that this update has very much done. But folks, that will be enough speculation from myself here today. If you guys enjoyed today's video, then a backhand of the like button does go a long way to supporting the channel. And if you guys are new to the channel and you enjoyed the content, then backhand that subscribe button whilst you're at it, guys. It keeps you up to date with all of the future videos that we do here. I would also highly recommend coming over and checking out our Twitch channel. First link in the description down below. We have got a massive month of August planned with a couple of special things here and there, which I cannot wait to share with you guys. So be sure to jump on down to the channel and check it out. But until then, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts were on the UI updates. And until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you next time.